KFIS, America's favorite Southern California themed racing show. This is Rabaut & Co. I'm just kidding. It's Horse Racing Happy Hour. SoCal Saturdays. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears hanging out with you same time every week here on the program presented by Amwager. Amwager.com, of course, the 100% deposit match up to $150. We'll be hanging out with them Tuesday, October 28th, right here in Louisville, ahead of the Breeders' Cup, our annual Breeders' Cup seminar. I have great news. I'll be there. I have bad news. Barry will also be there. So come on out to Martini Italian Beef Show the Tuesday before Breeders' Cup. Of course, you'll catch us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday live from the Breeders' Cup itself. We will be paddock side at Del Mar for all of the action out there. Barry, your first trip to Del Mar, man. I'm sure you're getting excited about it. How you doing?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I mean, I just, I don't even have words. That's amazing, but I don't.
Hell of a birthday week for you. That one will turn out to be, again, want to remind you about the Amwager Edge, online buying platform designed by horse players for you, the horse player. Speed, power, top-tier features like predictive true odds and conditional wagering as well. So if you're placing a win bet, or maybe you are placing something like a pick six, they've got all the tools to help you bet better. And of course, that 100% deposit match right now for new customers up to $150. You need an edge, you need Amwager. Appreciate them hanging out with us every week on the program. We really, I got to say, like personally, just getting to know people over there at that place, they have been really, really spectacular, really kind to me and to this program as well. So if you are live, bet anything California with our friends at Amwager. All right, Barry, this is one of those weekends in horse racing because of the calendar, because of the fact that Breeders' Cup is 3 weeks out here. We get a couple of special cards east of the Rockies at Maryland. We get the Maryland Million, of course, very cool weekend. And then you get West Virginia Breeders' Day tomorrow night. If you are interested in any of those, I will have episodes up about both of those cards at the Horse Racing Happy Hour platform. Of course, Barry and I talk Southern California racing on this platform every week as well. So kind of the in-between, Barry, this is a players weekend, right? I mean, this is when
this is a horse players weekend for sure.
Nothing casual this weekend. That's exactly right. And so a lot of smart money this weekend as well. So I think it's an opportunity, Barry, because of that, to take some stands, really, really press your opinions, because you are against smart money all weekend. So a chance for us, I think, as we head to Santa Anita for that. Again, Amwager.com, go check them out for sure. At some point, I'm sure we will go inside the minors, and we will, in fact, have Barry's boring play of the day as well. But Santa Anita Race 1 on Saturday. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears hanging out with you on SoCal Saturdays. Is a maiden special weight. This is for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. We're going a mile on the turf, and we're running for $60,000. If you're new to the program, Barry gets to go first in odd races. It's an odd number of races, so you get to go first 5 times, me 4 times, Barry. I don't know what that says about America, but who you got in race 1?
Yeah, I landed on number 6, Iron.
Little Iron talk.
Yeah, this horse is actually very interesting in this spot because of the fact that I think this horse learned some lessons here, and namely in the race they had last time. If you look at that replay from the August 30th race, this horse just had a myriad of trouble from the way outside and ran on pretty good. I know the line says this horse lost by 6 1/4 lengths, but was really into the race until the top of the stretch and kind of made a move, but was just so wide. So this horse had every right to kind of get tired there. Lost to Tempest Volet, who was kind of a loose lead winner. So getting the post relief, no loose lead horses in here. This is a really competitive event. 12-1, Ricky Gonzalez, Mike McCarthy, sign me up.
Barry goes 6, 5, and 3 in the first race. His second pick is my top pick in the first race. I'm going a different direction. 5, 7, and 8. Arctic Power will break for Phil D'Amato and Hector Berrios here. Barry, I'll be honest, this is as much a Hector Berrios pick as anything else, a Phil D'Amato pick as anything else. Frankly, the two of them hooking up a lot more at Santa Anita, and recently in their last 29 runs hitting at 24% together. This is one that tried the mile the first time last time, Barry. I'm hoping that was a step forward for this horse as far as getting the distance and those kinds of things. Have been working this one exclusively on the Tapeta as well once they move back to Santa Anita. And so I think they're obviously trying to set this one up for the turf. I also included Never Ambling. The Irish bred here in Better Rispoli rides for Phil D'Amato. So I'm just going Phil D'Amato on top in a grass race in California. So let's not lie about what this is. 5 and 7. I like the outside horse Irish Element, though, who came from the clouds last time at Santa Anita on the 28th of September. I think once in a while, trainers tell us how good a form they think their horses are in by spinning them back this quickly. I wonder if this one isn't ready for a big race here. So I'll go 5, 7, and 8, Barry. You went 6, 5, and 3. Let's talk a little bit about the 3 horse here in Poor Connection.
Yeah, I thought this horse was kind of the best of the rest, and honestly, Mike
Almost got it done last
McCarthy
time.
could actually hit the exacta here. I like the improvement last time in this horse's race, and the step up from 62.5 to maiden special weight isn't really that big of a deal, and this horse almost won. So I can see this horse running well again. Not sure about this horse winning, but definitely might be in the picture.
Yeah, it's an interesting a race altogether. Do you want to do a personal bet here? You get McCarthy, I get D'Amato. Whoever finishes first gets the win.
Let's do it.
All right, done. I have no idea what Barry and I are wagering on, but there you go. It's amwager.com.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out for sure. Presenting us today, as they do every single week here on SoCal Saturdays, hanging out with Barry Spears. My name is Louie Rabaut. We move on to race 2. On the card here starts the early pick, 4, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. It's an optional claimer for $20,000. We're running for $29,000. And here, a lot of horses in for the tag, actually, Barry. About half the field in this one. I thought an interesting, smaller field of horses. I ended up 5, 2, and 1 in here in race 2. Landed on the 5 horse, no surprise. Our guy, Armando Ayuso, on a Buds and Suds. I'm trying to think Buds and Suds. Very California, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that's
a little Sud, more Bud than Sud, right? I mean, if we're doing California, but this is one that comes out of an optional claimer at this level. Before that, though, was just flat winning. Has 3 wins this year, Barry. And once in a while, just give me the horse that wins. This is a horse that won at Del Mar, that won at Los Al, that has won at Santa Anita as well. And so to me, just give me the horse that wins. And this is one that's won at 3 different tracks, has hit the board 5 times and 7 runs at the distance. This is as much a value play for me, Barry, as anything else, because I think we're going to get 6 to 1 or even potentially longer in a 6 horse field. So I'll go 5 to 1 here, Barry. I know you landed in a different spot with the 4 horse here that I don't have in my handicap.
Yeah, I kind of thought that this horse on the cutback was really interesting, especially getting Hector Barrios again. They went long on the turf, and this definitely isn't the way this horse or what this horse really wants to do. She's more of a sprinter type. And I think the trip will be there because the 1 has some zip, also the 2 and kind of the 3. But I still think the 4 is just a better finisher. Any of those horses should sit a great trip, and 3 to 1 seems like a fair price.
There's a silver lining, was in the Flying P stable. Barn for Mike Maker earlier in the year was claimed for $16,000 at Keeneland in April before moving west into that Steve Knapp barn with the Bierman Family Trust ownership there. Is an interesting one for sure, Barry. You're essentially hoping that the class relief is the thing here, right? I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Getting into this kind of company. You have the 1 horse in Madeira wine. Do you know where Madeira is?
It's California?
Oh, it's a good guess. Portugal is what we were going for.
Oh, dang.
Ran at a 25.
That was close.
I agree. I think California, you know what? In the scale of the Milky Way galaxy, Portugal and California right next to each other.
Yeah, neighbors.
It's all about scale, people. It's all about scale.
Right?
You've got the 1 horse Madeira wine in the second spot here, Barry. One at the 16 level, 2 back. Did not at a higher level last time. We just hoping for class relief here as well.
Yeah, I mean, this horse has some speed, and they're kind of forced to get into the action early. I'm not really sure how good of a horse this is on the dirt. I know they have 2 wins on the dirt, but it was at lower levels than this, and I just think this one might hang around. If you look at this horse's body of work and you see the odds, you can tell that the class relief is going to help this horse quite a bit, and I think they just being forced to go to the lead or be competitive for the lead is better for this horse. But if they get shuffled back, they're really going to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, the 2 horse Miracle Ball in here, I have second to my handicapping. Kazushi Kimura keeps the mount here, has won twice on this horse, both in claimers at the 20 and 25 level. One of them non-3s, the other non-3s, won the 3rd race the last time. So obviously just falls into the number here. Has to be in for the tag because of those wins. Last out, they tried this horse on the turf, just simply didn't work for Librado Barasio. And I think that the move back to dirt here will be really good for Miracle Ball. Barry. So you already talked about the 1 horse here. I went 5, 2, and 1 in this spot. Should be an interesting one. for sure. Moving on to race 3 here. Barry will go first in a 6 furlong turf sprint here. The starter optional claiming. We're running for $34,000, but you can claim a horse out of here for 50 if they are in the tag. 7 in this race, Barry, and you landed on your boring play of the day. So Barry's boring play of the day will come in race 3 here. Who'd you land on?
I landed on the number 4, the morning line favorite, unfortunately, Vancouver, whose name is excellent. But
it's a spectacular name. I agree.
You know how you see in the racing form where you see horses that get perfect trips and their numbers inflated. I think this horse might get one of those inflated numbers in this race. This race totally sets up for Vancouver. There's a lot of speed inside of this horse, and it's all systems go. This horse should sit the trip of a lifetime. If you get 2-1, I would push all in.
Okay. Wow. Okay. There is a the actual favorite in here is 2-1. There's also a 3-1, a 4-1, a 7-2, mostly because of the field size. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Small.
All right. So in race 3, you're 4, 3, and 1. What do we like here about a horse named 32 Chunk? By the way, this is just a good horse racing name.
Yeah.
Race.
Yeah.
Like Bolt Supremacy on the inside is a great name. Too bad that horse stinks. And the Rabbi breaking next to Vancouver. Someone named a horse the Rabbi. Like, what are we doing? Like, spectacular stuff there. But you went 4, 3, and 1. Tell us about 3 horse here.
Yeah, 32 Chunk. I think this horse is probably the fastest, but there's enough speed to get in this horse's way. And Potito and the outside horse, Mutt Dillon, which is another great name. And even Smiling Tizzy, I think, might want to get involved early.
Yes.
And just pushing that horse just a little bit, again, sets it up for Vancouver, but I still think 32 Chunk is the second best horse in this race.
Yeah, I went with him on top. You and I just flip top picks here. I think you can probably grab the 3 of the 4 and move on with, if you're playing a multi-race, for example. Barry seems to be at least a decent play here. I agree, though. I think I would lean, frankly, a little heavier than you would on 32 Chunk in this spot. I think has a much better spot. I'm starting to wonder, too, Barry, is Kazushi going to live in second and third place in this meeting, or is he going to break through at some point? Because we're talking about a guy with 4 wins, 6 seconds and 8 thirds. So we're talking about a guy who's peppering the board like crazy, for sure, right? He's doing his job. But
yeah, he's going to have live mounts.
That's exactly right. But now he's on live mounts. Is he gonna break through and start winning? Have a three race win day kind of thing on a Saturday or something? I start to wonder that, and maybe this is the kind of horse that can move him toward exactly that. But the 7 horse, you mentioned him, spectacular name, and Mutt Dillon ran on the turf last time. It went ahead and broke his maiden. He gets back on the turf here, where he's tried it 3 times, but before that, it had been kind of interspersed, and it was a long time ago. I love this idea of being third in the form cycle and staying on the turf here. And it's a horse that's willing to get the lead and keep it. Before then, had gotten out of the gate well, but not when it was fresh off the layoff. We don't have to worry about that here. The horse will break well, I think, and give us a serious shot. That's 30-1, man. That is 30-1. And if that horse can go 58 and change in the first 5 furlongs, we're going to be having a conversation about who's going to win this race by the time that we get to the end of it. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. I'm Louie Rabaut. I'm hanging out with Barry Spears as I do every week on the program. We're going to move on to race 4 on the card. And believe it or not, it already starts the pick 6 here. There is a carryover today, in the pick 6, but we will see if that carries over, Barry, to tomorrow. It's an optional claimer here. $50,000 claiming price, $61,000 purse. We're going a mile on the dirt course at Santa Anita, which of course means you start at the same spot where you will finish. I landed Barry in race 4 here. I went even numbers 2, 4, 6. I landed on Westwood. The John Sheriff's trained, comes out of a maiden win. Barry is very tired of hearing this because this is an angle I really like. I like when horses put it together and they figure it out and they're comfortable being on the lead. This is a horse that went back to Lasix after being in stakes runs, Barry. And if you look at this horse's running lines, this is a horse that needs Lasix. We have a lot of debates about medication and different things in horse racing. This is one that very clearly needs Lasix. But they tried this one in the Affirmed. And before that, ran 3rd in the Santa Anita Derby. Hey, Barry, I'm going to ask you if you've heard of these horses before. Journalism?
Yeah, I don't know.
Journalism. Never heard of them. Okay, and then Baza? I'd never heard of him.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Ran behind them. We're going to forget about that because it's so embarrassing. Okay. We're going to forget about that. But no, he finished third in the Santa Anita Derby, gets to drop back into this kind of company. And I wonder, they were just waiting for him last time. He didn't even go off favorite last time. Penalty box ended up going off favorite. And so he wins that by open lengths, keeps Hector Barrios here. I'll go ahead and run with him. Del Margeri is in here. This is a hard knocking horse. The speed figures would tell you this is your favorite. The morning line would tell you that this is your favorite. I wouldn't fight you too hard if you thought this was the best horse in this field, but frankly, a lot of his wins have come below this level, Barry. We won him in Claimer's, done that kind of thing. I still think he's got a good shot here. So I went 2-4, and then 6 on the outside is Firmus. Juan Hernandez rides for Bob Baffert. Interesting here. I think he's a little tired of this horse kind of hanging, and he wants this horse to go. They're throwing the blinkers on. I think Juan's going to try to get this one to just go. So I went 2-4-6 in race 4. How about for you, Barry?
Yeah, I actually threw out the favorite here in the 4, Del Margeri. I just thought the 4 is going to get hooked up with the 6, and it's going to be just blazing out front. And then you add Westwood in there, who really I don't know what to do with, because who knows what kind of running style this horse is going to employ. I mean, last time they just dominated, so they were just way better than the horses they were facing. Horses like Westwood always give me fits because they go into bigger races, and don't run poorly, and then come back in maidens, and they're like, okay, this one won, but I don't know where this horse fits in this race. That's really a question mark. I would want more than 7-2 personally, but I ended up on Clooney.
I think they needed that. They did just send him, right? Westwood, right? Just go, right? Just figure it out.
I don't know. That's what I mean. I'm not sure because the horse really ran better, I thought, when he had a target. I think that's where he's going to be best.
Got it. Okay, got it.
But it stands to reason that this horse is quick enough to get leads. So we'll see. But I think it sets up for Clooney. 10-1 seems like a stretch, especially coming off that last race. This horse was just wide the whole way, pretty much 3 or 4 wide, and still kind of hung in there. Gets a way better setup this time. Post relief, although I do not really like the 1 hole, it's okay here because A, the price, and B, the trip that this horse will be able to work out. So I'm going with Clooney at 10-1.
All right. So Barry, of course, lands 1, 2, 3, and I land 2, 4, 6. That's probably the most fun landings that we've ever had as far as the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, something like that. Later on, we will go inside the mind of Spears. Oof. Not yet. We go to race 5. Obviously, we're going to close up the early pick 5, and we will start here the all-turf pick 3 and the late pick 5. The all-turf pick 3, of course, is a 15% takeout and a $3 minimum bet. We love those things. Barry, I hit it last week with our picks from this show, which is absolutely spectacular, and so that was a nice hit for me. Last week, Saturday, our $36 ticket turned into $320. You could have easily found that at a website called thesportingtribune.com. You can also download the app for free, completely free. And I put out those kinds of wagers somewhere between 20 and about $35. And we try to get back those kinds of returns that we did last week. We even singled in the final leg. And so feeling good about that one. But we move on to race 5 here, Barry. Starting at late pick 5, maiden 50 here, going 6 furlongs on the turf. We're running for 33,000, and 3, 4, and 5-year-olds are invited. Barry, where did you land here?
I am very boring, as they say here. I think Reno is the goods. There's nobody here that can run with that horse, unfortunately. I tried every which way to get this horse beat, and I couldn't do it. He's just fast, and should show it on Saturday, period.
All right, so underneath you have the 4 and the 3. Are these purely like we're trying to make money, or do you think these are the second, third best horses?
No, I think Salient, the 4, has a pretty decent shot to get in this race here. There's really not much beyond the 7, and the horses that have run besides Salient aren't really that great. The starts are stacking up, and it's starting to look like maybe some of these horses need a little bit of class relief. Salient, however, is dropping into this level for the first time, and the pedigree on this horse might suggest that this horse may like the turf a little bit. The unusual heat mare and sprinting. There's some precocity there. The move by Luis Mendez is ridiculous. He's 57% apparently, and hooks up with Escobedo. So why not in a race where that one probably will get overlooked thanks to Reno? A nice little exacta 7-4 sounds about right.
4 for his last 7 is Luis Mendez, moving horses from maiden specials to the claiming ranks. Even the 50, though, if you get 50 for that horse, good God, good job. It's the Calbred in the race here. I landed very similarly, 7, 1, and 3. And I landed on the 1 for a reason that you just said. In Vino Amante here, which is this horse only run once, Barry. So this horse hasn't gotten a chance to develop a bunch of bad habits in races, right? And frankly, was in an unbelievably fast race last time, including the winner, Mutt Dillon, right? And so we're talking about a race that finished up at 58 and change in that maiden run. This is a horse that didn't gain ground, Barry, but also didn't lose ground. And so we get Armando back aboard here. Bill McLean, second time starters, man, hits at 12%. That's an okay number. We can deal with that. And we get Armando back on. And frankly, the way that I talk about Kazushi, Armando's already starting to do that. He's got 7 wins already in this meet at Santa Anita. And so it's been nice to watch his development, him getting better mounts, frankly, as he started to develop. And so 7-1-3 for me in race 5. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Network. We're presented by AmWager and AmWager.com. His name is Barry Spears. My name is Louie Rabaut. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're here every Friday at this time, and we'd love to have you as a weekly hangout if you are able. We move on to race 6. The late pick 4 starts here. It is a 1 mile maiden special weight on the dirt. Maiden's 2 years old here on the filly side of things, Barry. So maybe a Santa Anita Oaks runners in this one. We got a trio, I should say, not a bunch, but a trio of favorites in this one. Of course, race 6 means I got to go first. And so in a 2-year-old maiden race, Barry, you and I saw this one pretty differently, believe it or not.
What?
I landed on Bob Baffert. You didn't. That's essentially the difference here. And so I landed on Mistrial. She'll break from the 5 here. This Daughter of Constitution. They stretched her out to a mile last time, or excuse me, to 6 furlongs. She ran it last time. They're going to stretch her out here for the first time. And you mentioned a ridiculous stat with Luis Mendez in the last race. It's not often that you get to say the best stat for Bob Baffert is the best stat for Bob Baffert is 2 sprints to a route. Okay, so that is when the horse goes less than a mile twice in a row and then runs at least at a mile. Next up, we're going a mile here. Barry and I disagree on whether the mile matters or the turns matter, but we'll just this horse is going a mile here.
Distance.
I will lean on the Baffert that gets Juan Hernandez because both of the Bafferts in this race had Juan Hernandez aboard last time. Obviously, Antonio Fresu out for the day, and so we don't see his name on these. But he's going to Umberto Rispoli with Sounds Lucky. So give me the 5 on top in Mistrial. Barry, where'd you land in this 2-year-old race? I think this is a fascinating race, actually.
Yeah, this is a tough one because of the Bafferts aren't your typical Bafferts where they both show speed and one's going to play off the other. It's a little bit of a setup if you look at running style, at least on the first race. Sounds Lucky seems to be sort of a closing type, but you never know. I would rather go with what I thought was more of a known commodity in Total Val. Didn't run poorly behind Explorer and Rivera back in August. Came back off that one, was way wide. You see the source was 5 wide in the 10 hole, gets back to the inside, and I think that might make all the difference on the stretch out. Should get good position. This is a kind of move that Mandela does a lot, and when he has a good horse, this is the point at when they would show it on the track. So I'm going to bet on that. Hopefully we can get that 6-1 still, which I think we might, because Super Corridor should take some action too, and we should be all right as far as price, and it's just from trip after that. DeMuro hasn't been the most stellar at working out trips, but he's good enough, and we'll go there.
I'm feeling very old, and I'm going to give you the reason why. The horse you picked on top in Total Val, the dam is Orbulation, which means that the sire of the dam here is Orb, and Orb was the winner of the first Kentucky Derby that I attended.
Oh, there you go. Let's go.
So now a granddaughter of Orb is running in a 2-year-old race at Santa Anita. I'm an old man, young Barry Spears. 5-3-1 for me, and this one Sounds Lucky, the other Baffert on the top. And then look at that, Total Val, totally agree with you in the 3rd spot for this one. Not a great angle stretching out for Mandela of all things, believe it or not, but I do think I agree with you. He thinks something about this horse. as well. The 6 horse you have in your handicapping in Rockabella, is it something other than the second time out, or what is it here?
Pedigree.
Okay.
This horse, Go Zapper, out of a Curlin mare, should probably want to go long. Mike McCarthy does a lot better with second-time starters than he does first-time starters.
Literally 10
20
times
to
better.
1 in a race, it's a pretty big outfit in Don Alberto. So I think this horse might have some potential, after the poor start and everything in the first race. I'll forgive that and put this one in the mix.
We moved to race 7 here on SoCal Saturdays. We are previewing the Saturday card at Santa Anita. We're here every week with our friends at AmWager and AmWager.com. The feature is race 7. It is a state-bred down the hill turf race. It is the California Flag Handicap. It's presented by City National Bank. $100,000 on the line here. I was debating this with someone the other day, Barry. Where in the pantheon of turf courses do you put Santa Anita's downhill turf course in the United States?
I mean, I might be a little biased because I hit a pick 4 that paid $32,000 with a horse that won going down the hill. So I think it's the tip top best thing, and they should run all the races down the hill. But that's just me. I can't speak for anybody else.
I kind of expected you to go to Tampa just because that's your home track, but whatever.
No. I got to go where I have success. I mean, not that I don't have success at Tampa, but
Tampa's got a killer. It's got a great turf course.
But they don't have a downhill turf course. That's unique.
The orb thing's bothering me, bro. Like it's legitimately. I don't know what to do about it. I'm feeling not great about it.
Throw them on the ticket.
I guess so. We'll total battle talk. But race 7 is the feature. It is the California Flag. Barry, it's an odd race. You get to go first. You and I landed on the same log shot.
Yeah, I'm down with the 5 Cali Cat.
Totally agree.
This horse is really good and in a good spot here. I love horses. I think I've said this before, that do well going fast at a mile and then turn back coming down the hill. It accentuates the kick, and this race really sets up for this horse. Booksmart has a ton of speed. Shea Brennan's going to have to go. The only horse I'm kind of afraid of is the horse that is going into the Breeders' Cup turf sprint, possibly. Or no, the sprint is Lovesick Blues.
Interesting.
I know this horse is really kind of dual surface. This horse runs well on either surface, and I know this is a prep. But this horse could be better than all these, and I'm just trying to kind of bet against that horse winning this race because they really don't want to win this one. They want to win the next one. So the trip they're going to get are probably similar, but I'm going to go with Cali Cat on top.
It is interesting to see Lovesick Blues in here if they do plan to run the Breeders' Cup, because it is a quick turnaround. But if you think
that's okay, I think
it's the right thing. No, I'm with you.
I think they should do this more often, in the whole sport in general. But I like the fact that they're going to get this horse another race into this horse before the Breeders' Cup. I would upgrade his chances based on this alone.
You went 5, 2, and 4. I'll go 5, 1, and 3. Shea Brennan's in here, and this is a horse that's never tried the turf. So I am taking a massive guess here, but I don't think Phil D'Amato would do this by accident. He's a 15% dirt to turf kind of guy. I think he's got a good sense of who will run well here. And this is a 3-year-old. This might be a bit of a fishing expedition just to see if this one likes going down the hill, because if he does, there's some Calbred money in there, dude, to run down the hill 5-6 times a year, frankly. And so you could find that out and get some checks out of these kinds of races. And so I went 5, 1, and 4. The 4 horse here is Sir Rocket. This is a horse that finished 3rd by a head last time that it went down the hill. Before that, did finish fifth, in an allowance. And so I'm hoping that the experience down the hill, where the horse did finish under Antonio Fresu by just by a head, that Armando will be able to get this one up. I also love that 10 to 1 price on a horse like this, Barry. So 5, 1, and 4 for me in the California Flag handicap. We'll move on to the late double, $5 late double here, $5 minimum, 15% takeout on that wager. It's a maiden 50, and it is a Calbred maiden 50, 5.5 on the dirt here. This is for 2-year-old fillies, Barry, and an even numbered race means that I get to talk first, even though I don't want to. I'm just kidding. All right. So you and I have 2 horses in common here. You're going to go with a longer shot on here. I'll go with a 9 to 2 shot breaking from the rail for Brian Corner. And that is Kiss Me Coco. We saw twice at Del Mar before the move back to Santa Anita and was very close last time. I am hopeful that this horse will be a little bit closer to the front of the pace because Barry needing to close, the rail does concern me a little bit. But I think that if Armando can get this one off a little bit quicker, that she could be part of the earlier equation, keep that 2.5 kind of length distance between her and the leaders and make her best running later in the stretch. I then went to the 3 horse here. Excuse me. No, I didn't. That's a lie.
Nope.
I went to the 5 horse here. A great shake, a first timer for Ryan Hansen, who is very, very good on debut at 16%. Avo Lascano picks up the mount for him here. And this is one that Barry, sometimes in these races, you know how this goes. We're looking at a state bred race. We're trying to figure out who it is. Maybe this is just me falling in love with the backup quarterback, but this is also a horse that hasn't raced yet. And his debut numbers make a ton of sense to me. So I think this is one that's being placed in a really, really good spot. I like breaking from the 5, gives him a lot of work, but something I've learned from Barry. Last 2 works for this horse have been from the gate, and they have been good works from the gate amongst this kind of company. And so give me the 6 horse here the 5 horse here, 1-5 on top for me here, Barry. Where'd you land in race 8?
I landed on the 10. I'm throwing one downfield, Fairlawn's Way. I think this horse might have some ability. Pedigree-wise, there's some precociousness, not any first-time winners, but horses that were really close and horses that are forwardly placed, like horses that, kind of get to the lead and stay on. And I keyed in on 2 workouts. The July 19th at Los Al is 1:01 handily from the gate. And then August 23rd, 45-3 handily from the gate, which is smoking. And then you see the horse had another 5 furlong work and a couple of like maintenance sort of breezes before this race, and the last one ending on October 15th. But there's really nothing that stands out to me in this whole race. And this horse being perched on the outside, having speed, it might be okay. I hope we get 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1-5 for you. Again, 1-5-3 for me. The only other one to talk about here would be Victoria's Jewel. Third timer here for George Papapadromu. Vera Rispoli gets them out here. I don't know if we'll get 6-1. I think this is kind of an easy one to overlook, but this one had the lead last out before fading and weakening at the very end of the race. If this horse added any kind of endurance or whatever in the workouts most recently, I think Victoria's Jewel can absolutely go ahead and pick this thing off. Race 9 is up, and it is the finale on Saturday. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears hanging out with you on SoCal Saturdays are presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. An optional claimer here, $80,000 tag price, $63,000 in the purses for non-2 lifers. We're going 1 1/8 on the turf. I love this race to close the car, Barry. I'm not going to lie to you. I just feel less than satisfied when it's a sprint at the end of a card. Like I waited all day. I waited all day for a 70-second race. Give me
I'm okay with that. Especially if I'm single to a horse, I'm okay with that.
You would.
Mind Spears.
So race 9 here.
You don't want that.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying, people. Race 9. You landed on the 9 in the 9. How about that? It packs a wallop. That's what we say about Barry.
Yeah, you should, right? I just think that Paxa Wallop is going. This is almost like the other situation that I explained earlier, where I think a horse might actually like get an overinflated buyer number because the race sets up so well for them. And honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think Paxa Wallop would probably be my top pick on the day. I just believe this horse is going to get the setup of a lifetime, and this horse is good enough. Phosphorescence, and that horse is the key to this whole thing. Phosphorescence will have to set the pace.
Okay, I agree. You're gonna have to go.
They're on the rail. They got to go, and there really shouldn't be a whole lot of pace on in here. If you go through the whole field, nobody really wants to lead, and I think Paxa Wallop just sits right on that horse's flank and out finishes that one, and that's the exacta right there, 9-1.
What is that exacta pay? 70-1, 60-1?
Yeah, I'd say probably about 50-1.
It's a big field, so yeah, you probably get every bit of that. Especially if the 9 and the 1 do come in for you. Again, 9-1-6 for Barry in the finale here at Santa Anita on a Saturday. I went a very different direction, 6-3-2. City Exile on top for me. This is something I've never said on this show.
Uh-oh.
I have Juan Hernandez on top in one race today.
Mm.
That's actually
honestly,
two.
There's not many Bafferts, and he's really.
I haven't been the
not,
maiden too. I forgot about that. Yeah, I haven't been the maiden. So 2 races out of 9. But City Exile comes in here out of the Del Mar handicap where the horse was close the whole time, Barry, but ran out of gas the last 2/8 of a mile. Guess what we don't have to do? Run the last 2/8 of a mile. The last quarter mile ain't on this race. Gets back, to a more comfortable distance here, and I think should be good to go that way. I'm trying to get an ant off of my computer without exiting out of all the programming here. I apologize for that. But I did go 6-3 and 2 in this spot. Old pal Kazushi Kimura hopefully will get it done with this one for me. Was in the Turf Classic last time. It is a state bred race, but gets to drop into allowance company, or I guess stay in allowance company if you want to look at it that way. But this is a horse that's been very good at Santa Anita as well. Never missed the trifecta in 8 runs with 4 wins as well. So give me 6-3 and 2. The 2-horse Allegato out of the Glatt barn. Avo Loscano rides here, was in the Cal Dreaming last out at 1 mile and a 16th and finished a good second behind an absolute world beater in Kings River Note. So there's no shame in any of that. So I'll go 6-3 and 2 in that race, Barry. I know you have that 6 in your third spot, so at least we agree on that part of it. Well, Barry, I hope you have a great weekend and watching all the races. A spectacular setup for those of us who play on, play a lot of days of the week. Let's be real honest. Is let's Maryland early in the day, then you get Santa Anita as part of, it's like a sandwich of, you go from like Laurel all the way out west to LA and then all the way back to West Virginia. And you're just going to have in the neighborhood of 12 hours of betting. Just spectacular stuff. I'm so excited. And then of course I haven't even mentioned Keeneland. Do you have a QE2 pick? Cause I don't. By the way, there are only 63 podcast episodes about the QE2 right now.
I didn't really like that race, to be honest with you.
Fionn, does she run back to her form? Does Fionn keep it up? She set the track record at Saratoga.
Actually, no. I actually like Lush Lips in that spot. I think Lush Lips is going to dominate that race from the inside. She has a lot of speed. I would hope because of the draw, they're going to use the speed and get in front of the other horse that has speed on the outside. But I thought Laura Lynn might be tough too, the 1-2 in that race.
Well, it's Keeneland weather around here. I'm not going to lie to you.
What?
It's like 68, 70 degrees, something like that.
It's too cold, bro. Can't do it.
Sunny.
Cannot. Sunny I could do, but it's too cold. 68. No way, man. My toes would be frozen.
You go learn.
No, I'm going to wear 2 pairs of socks is what I'm going to do.
In the shade of Del Mar, you go learn.
Nah. Del Mar, I didn't wear shorts. Like, that's like home. Almost.
You shorts, bro. You get the shade once. You ain't wear them. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louie Rabaut. We've been presented by AmWager and AmWager.com. This is SoCal Saturdays. We will be back next week at this time. 2 more weeks in Santa Anita. We'll get back to Del Mar after that. For Barry, I'm Louie. See you next week.